Hello, hello, and welcome to Judging by the Cover, where today we are looking at Doom the Dark Ages. Came out just this past week, at least at the time that this is being uploaded and published. So, yeah, May 14th, it says, was the release date. Um, it looks incredible. Just a quick heads up Doom the Dark Ages. The trailers make it look like if you were playing Diablo from a first person perspective wearing an Iron Man suit as some kind of just brutal soldier melee class, or I guess range classes too. I guess it would be like a demon hunter, like a combo demon hunter barbarian class from Diablo 3. Uh, if you put them in an Iron Man suit and gave them even bigger mechas and let them ride a dragon. There is so much to the game that it it looks great. I am going to throw that out there. The graphics look amazing. Whatever, I'm sure there might be some performance stuff with launch that they're going to be working through. There is some information on the Steam store page about known issues that they got and are working on, even immediately upon release. So there is a lot going in there. id Software and Bethesda Softworks really did a number on their presentation for the trailers and the screenshots. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the screenshots first. Here we do have your Doom guy facing down with the demons of hell and ready to just obliterate them and blow their brains out, as you do for Doom. Now, I have not played the modern Dooms. Just to throw this out there real quick, I haven't played modern Dooms. I haven't played much of original Dooms, but we all know that the game series is famous for its impact on the gaming industry as a whole, including the modern joke of for like any modern device of can it run Doom, referring to the original Doom, because that was part of the gag was you could play Doom on just about everything, which was a part of the thing that made it so ubiquitous or so widespread and accessible to players. Anyway, that said, we're moving on with the screenshot. Now this one I didn't quite catch in the trailers if this was the case, but it looks like from this screenshot that there are like giant titans. Like it looks like there's a giant mech and a monster fighting in the background while you are a foot soldier on this battlefield. And if that's the case, if you are on the ground while bigger stuff is happening in the background, that is a cool thing to see, even if your attention is kind of diverted from things that are walking up to you wanting to tear your throat out or something. We do have enemy mounted enemies and winged enemies out here facing you down. I did see in the trailer, this screenshot is showing it here, but the trailer did show this interesting kind of weapon that seemed to take skulls and bones and then grind them into shrapnel that you would use as kind of like, I guess, a spread shot kind of thing. Like you're using parts of your enemy as ammunition, which incredible concept. It's hyper violent now, but then again, this is the Doom series we're talking about. Violence is the core of the gaming experience when it comes to Doom. But of course, that violence is being waged against demons who are trying to just murk everybody. We have this scenic shot here that looks like uh it looks like some kind of siege battle going on, or at least preparations for a siege battle where we see, I'm guessing, the human faction on our side here, where we see they look like they have laser cannons, which is it's kind of weird. This technological or medieval lean that it has, like we're in some Magitech Final Fantasy esque kind of like grimdark Final Fantasy Magitech situation, is the kind of the vibe I'm getting because they sell it as the for one, the title is The Dark Ages. This is apparently a prequel to the original classic Dooms, or a prequel to the modern Dooms, so to speak. But even the modern Dooms were basically reimaginings of the original, where they're going into the background of the Slayer, the character of the Slayer, and where they got their start as apparently a divine weapon made specifically for this warfare. But it looks like we do have some siege warfare going on with our walls against the side of hell going on. we have a close up of the demon that is shown prominently through the trailers as what I'm guessing is the character that wants to take a throne and a kingship. The problem is that everybody fears the Slayer. So as long as the Slayer lives, he cannot be the true, I guess, King of Terror or Lord of Terror. But then again, that I feel like that title belongs to Diablo, and this guy looks way too pretty to be Diablo. We do have Doom guy shown here in this looks like the cockpit of the mech suits that we do see in the trailers as well. We have the little hose hooked up to the power source, and this is the other thing that made me think it's like, oh, it's like an Iron Man suit because he has his power core on the chest there, and hooks up this I guess power cord to it so that he can energize the giant robot, because everybody loves giant robots, whether it's Gundams or Evangelions or Megas XLR. Everybody digs giant robots, and we all know that. It really just speaks to them wanting to give you a larger than life experience here, on top of just the absolute threshold of violence. We do see another castle shot, like burning castle here situation, and what seemed to be these divine airships, I'm guessing, because the Doom guy came out of one of these in the trailers when they were deploying him into the battle, as if it's these guys that are actually in charge of the human armies and defending their territories from the enemy armies. But we do see that there seems to be some issues here. The citadel, or the fortitude, is engulfed in flames. I don't know if this is like a failed mission situation or if you're jumping into the middle of a bad situation where these guys were a little late to the party. We see melee combatants coming in face first, staring down the barrel of your shotgun. We do have dragons, multiple shots of the dragon, with the dragon, getting its wingspan going, or whether you're riding on the dragon, or the dragon belching fire into a giant's mouth, lighting it up from the inside. Just amazing shots in the trailers and in these screenshots, just to kind of remind you these peak little moments that were in there. And then we have the exterior of the giant robot. And like I said, I'm getting some serious like Evangelion or Escaflowne or favorite comparison, Megas XLR vibes, where I feel like if I were to pick up this game and play it, I would get into this thing and just say, we dig giant robots, just to start singing that song or some shit. And I don't even live in Jersey. We do have Mr. Blob guy over here with cannon arms. So, the enemies do get big. And then, of course, a close up of Doom guy just looking mean and ready for a fight. But stand and fight seems to be the tagline of, or the catchphrase of the promotional material. Reviews so far are very positive for something that came out just this week. Premium. There is a premium edition. The Dark Ages for itself is $70, so it's already higher than the base $60 AAA price tag that a lot of games would have in the modern age. It is a little more than that. And then the premium is $100, or if you get the premium upgrade separately, that's $35, for a total of $105 basically. That's depending on how everything plays out. I wouldn't say that the pricing is egregious, since the premium upgrade does include upcoming campaign DLC. Now, whether or not the base game is enough of a game in its own right remains to be seen by the player base, but at the same time, it does look like they deliver a lot here. And for the notoriety and the fame that the Doom series has, I feel like the pricing for the brand and the playability that you get out of it is probably going to be extremely polished. Like I said, the trailers look amazing, and there are extra trailers. There's a trailer specifically for the premium edition. There's a gameplay trailer. There's a cinematic developer direct trailer, and another one over here that shows a little more into the background of the Slayer. I keep calling him Doom Guy because that seems to be the famous moniker that he's had for decades. But they specifically title him the Slayer in this. They do have their announcements tabs on teams, and of course, you can refresh those as you see fit to keep up to date. So with the premium edition, they do lead with the premium edition. You get the campaign DLC and a divinity skin pack that gives some bright silver armor to the Slayer, his mecha, and his dragon mount. You get the campaign DLC, a digital art book and soundtrack, because the art books and soundtracks, if you can see some of the concept art and have it stored on your computer like that, just to kind of browse through, if you like those kinds of things, or if you want, if you yourself are an artist, the art books probably make great references for doing fan art and projects like that. The Divinity skin pack comes in there. The DLC is available. When the DLC comes out is to be announced, but they have it clear in the advertising here that there is DLC on the way. Hopefully, it wouldn't take too long to get that out there, because I don't know how much content comes in the base game as far as start to finish campaign or completionist levels of the campaign. With that, we're going to go ahead and move into the main part here. The tagline here is, for Doom the Dark Ages, become the Slayer in a medieval war against hell. Doom the Dark Ages is the prequel to a critically acclaimed Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal that tells an epic cinematic story worthy of the Doom Slayer's legend. In this third installment of the modern Doom series, players step into the blood-stained boots of the Doom Slayer in this never-before-seen dark and sinister medieval war against hell. The Dark Ages is a dark fantasy sci-fi single-player experience that delivers the searing combat and over-the-top visuals of the incomparable Doom franchise, powered by the latest id-Tech engine. There's the Reign in Hell as super weapon of gods and kings. So it's made clear here that Doom Guy is not just some dude in fancy armor with a big gun. He is created specifically for this purpose, to wage war against demons. Super weapon of gods and kings, shred enemies with devastating favorites like the super shotgun, while also wielding a variety of new bone-chewing weapons, as is available in the trailers. You can watch those at your leisure, and in the screenshots, including the versatile shield saw. Players will stand and fight on the demon-infested battlefields in vicious, grounded combat original Doom is famous for. Oh wow, you even see it looks like a classic D&D intellect devourer. That's like the brain creature that gnaws on your innards, but with a turret mount. So that these monsters, the monsters and demons, also look incredible in both the cinematic trailers and everything. Experience an epic story of the Doomslayer's rage in this cinematic and action-packed story. Bound to serve as the super weapon of gods and kings, the Slayer fends off demon hordes as their leader seeks to destroy the Slayer and become the only one that is feared. You witness the creation of a legend as the Slayer takes on all of hell and turns the tide of war. And then it goes on to discovering unknown realms. Now, from what I understand, the Doom series is famous for, you start off on maybe landing wherever the main invasion is starting off. I think in one of the Doom series, it's like you're on the moon or Mars or something. I don't recall exactly. Or you start off on Earth or something, and you go through a portal to basically take the war through the portal into enemy territory in hell and to wipe out the threat. And of course, the battle seems to be never ending for our titular Slayer. In his quest to crush legions of hell, the Slayer must take the fight to never-before-seen realms. Mystery, challenges, and rewards lurk in every shadow of ruined castles, epic battlefields, dark forests, ancient hellscapes, and worlds beyond, armed with the viciously powerful shield saw, cut through a dark world of menace and secrets in its largest and most expansive levels to date. Now, earlier I was mentioning that I'm depending on how much content they put in the game, because I know sometimes these AAA games give you a campaign that's maybe, the campaign could be maybe 4, 8, or even 20 hours long, but for that kind of a price tag, compared to how much time I get out of other games, the price tag might not be as much as far as your hours of gameplay that you would expect to get out of it. It does seem like they tried to go out of their way, at least in the advertising, to make zones expansive so that you can explore them. Maybe even if there's like hidden bosses tucked away in their maps or in their zones, and maybe even some extra post game content beyond the DLC, it would be incredible. There's that visual I was talking about with the dragon just spitting the fire into a behemoth's mouth. Just absolute. Visually, the game is amazing. It looks like they are promising a lot of gameplay, expansive maps for you to explore. Whether you could try and take the fast route and try and plow through the game as quickly as possible. I'm sure people are already banking on trying to speed run the game, see who can get the fastest clear records on it, which can also be an incredibly satisfying way to play. But if I had the budget or the time for this, and especially if FPSs like this were my bread and butter, I would probably not hesitate to get that premium pack if I were that type of player with the time to put into this. Even at $100 US for the premium package, it looks like they are offering you quite a bit. It does seem to be just single player, but for the level of promised content, the stunning visuals, and the way they're diving deeper into the story of the universe and the character of the Slayer, I would actually like to see how this does. Now, like I said, me buying it personally would be if I was an FPS mainstay, and if I had the time and budget for this. But for those that do, by all means, if Doom is something you were excited for, well, if Doom is something you were excited for, you've probably already pre-ordered it. If other people are on the fence, this is an amateur's look that would look and say, like, if this goes on sale and it falls into my budget, I might actually make this the first Doom game I play.